So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And listen, we back to check out some unexplained mysteries. And tonight's photos, there's a lot of unexplained mystery, okay? This video is titled 5 Unexplained Mysteries with Mysterious Vintage Photos That Need Solving. Weird history. We're gonna get to it. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the family, and spam that like button. Let's get it.
Mysterious vintage photos can be quite chilling, especially those with creepy backstories to go along with them. Most of these mysteries will likely never be solved, but that doesn't stop people from trying to explain them.
Nope.
Number 5. These vintage photographs of a mysterious figure from the 1800s definitely give off creepy vibes. A picture of him eating while dressed in a strange, stitched-together outfit, almost glaring at the camera, can give people chills. In reality, the Leatherman was known as a gentle and polite person, but one shrouded in mystery. Recent attempts to crack the case have only made him more mysterious. The Leatherman was first witnessed in 1857, when he was believed to be about 18 years old. He lived in New York but had no fixed address. Instead, he would walk in a circle between the Connecticut and Hudson rivers. The route was 365 miles long, crossing between 3 different counties, and would take him a little over a month. At the end of it, he started again. He repeated the journey for the rest of his life. He would stay in caves in the areas where he visited, tending to gardens there, and using them to store supplies. He seemed to have money, though nobody knew where it was from. He would buy supplies from stores during his rounds and always paid for them. Once people realized he wasn't going to hurt anyone.
I thought it was the people. Last time I heard of this story, they touched on it briefly though. They would say like he would always show up at the same time to this one location. You could set your watch by him the same time, they said. So it wouldn't be surprised if he got a lot of his like money or valuables from the people.
His rounds and always paid for them. Once people realized he wasn't going to hurt anybody, the settlements he walked through welcomed his monthly visit. People would offer him food and considered it lucky to be visited by him.
See?
He spoke little English, mostly communicating through grunts and gestures, though he would thank the people who gave him food. He spoke a little more French, but still didn't talk much at all. He never told anybody his name, but the people he met on his travels called him the Leatherman. The Leatherman was always dressed in a handmade suit made from shoe leather, stitched together with leather laces. It's believed that he made the suit, which consisted of slacks, a shirt, jacket, scarf, and hat. The suit weighed about 60 pounds, and he always wore it, even in the height of the summer. There were plenty of rumors about who the Leatherman might be, and why he was on this never-ending journey. One story suggested he was a rich Frenchman who had fallen in love with someone his family didn't agree with. When he couldn't marry the woman, he chose instead to become the Leatherman. Others thought it was some kind of penance for something. It was believed the Leatherman was Catholic, as he had a French prayer book and wouldn't eat meat on Fridays. At one point, he was taken to a mental hospital, but after evaluation, the doctors determined there was nothing wrong with him, and they allowed him to leave. The Leatherman passed away in March of 1889 at the
Man probably got better sense than most people. And that might be the reason why he chose not to speak and just grunt. Maybe he didn't want to deal with people. He probably knew what come with that. Think about it. How much better off would it be if we didn't deal with a lot of the people that we deal with? It'd probably alleviate 75% of the stress, wouldn't it? I might try that. Just grunt at people from now on. And see how much better or stress-free my life will become. I might try that.
Age of 50. An autopsy found it wasn't his strange traveling lifestyle that caused him to pass away, but rather his habit for chewing tobacco, which caused mouth cancer. He was buried in a grave marked Jules Bergley, as a recent newspaper had claimed that this was his name. The newspaper retracted the story the day after he passed away, though, and his true name was never discovered. For years, the Leatherman remained a mystery. In 2011, though, that mystery only deepened. A highway had been built close to the Leatherman's resting place, and people wanted to move the grave to a more central location in the graveyard. Archaeologists also wanted to take samples to see where the Leatherman had actually come from. The grave was dug up, but no coffin was discovered. The only thing that remained were the nails that once sealed it. The nails and some dirt from the original grave were reburied, and the legend of the mysterious Leatherman continued on.
Now, I've heard of stories about people being buried alive, people thinking that someone was dead and they be, you know what I mean? They're actually not, and you can see scratches on coffins and different things like that. All kind of different stuff. I've never heard of somebody making it out of one, leaving behind nothing but the nails. Yeah, that story got really, really weird at the end.
Number 4. These vintage photographs look relatively normal at first glance, but the story of the man featured is shrouded in mystery. It was 1908 when Joshua Slocum disappeared without a trace while traveling to South America. To this day, his fate remains a mystery. Slocum was one of the most famous sailors to have ever lived. He started sailing at the age of 16, and eventually worked his way up to become the captain of a variety of sailing boats. Not only was he skilled at map reading and traditional navigation, Slocum also practiced in the art of navigating by the night sky. After his first wife passed away, he married a cousin, and his family joined him on some of his adventures. They weathered fierce storms and ship.
Where is he from again? I need to go back and hear where he's from again.
Die. After his first wife passed away, he married a cousin, and his family joined him on some of his adventures. They weathered fierce storms and shipwrecked in Brazil for a time in 1887. The experience left his wife with a hatred of sailing, but Slocum was still pulled to the sea. In 1891, he purchased a badly damaged oyster boat and started a passion project. Over the course of several months, he completely rebuilt the ship, naming it the Spray. In 1895, he started his most daring adventure yet, a solo circumnavigation of the world. On April 24, 1895, he left Boston, Massachusetts. For the next 3 years, he was alone at sea. His planned route had to be changed due to privacy. Storms stopped his voyage for more than a month, and at one point, a goat ate charts of the Caribbean. Despite the difficulties, Slocum managed something that had never been achieved before when he arrived in Rhode Island in June of 1898. The feat solidified his place as one of the masters of sailing, which made what happened even stranger. In 1908, he informed President Roosevelt of his next adventure. He wanted to sail to Venezuela and navigate South American rivers. He set off in November of 1908 from Massachusetts, heading south. It's believed he resupplied in Miami, then was never seen again. What happened to Slocum remains a mystery.
I don't know.
Many, including his wife, believe he was simply lost at sea. He never learned to swim, so if he was swept over—
Wait. He never learned to swim? How does a person that loves, since a little tyke, love everything about sailing but not know? That's mind-blowing to me. Never learned how to swim? You went out for 3 years on nothing but a boat in open waters, and you didn't know how to swim? Not even a little, like that. I would have never guessed that part. Never guessed that part. Holy snap, bro. They just threw a monkey wrench in at the end. How did he not? And then, how does he go missing? They didn't even find a boat for him. Bro, that ocean is unforgiving, man. Unforgiving.
Believe he was simply lost at sea. He never learned to swim, so if he was swept overboard for some reason, he would have struggled to survive.
Did they find the boat?
Others believe his experience in tricky conditions would have made a simple sailing accident unlikely. Given his trip took him through the Bermuda Triangle,
Oh.
some suspect the mysterious and infamous waters had something to do with his disappearance. Another suggestion was that he faked his own disappearance to get away from his wife, as he felt more and more pressured to give up sailing. No trace of Slocum or the spray.
Hey, my man chose sailing over his wife. That's crazy. Wow. What does that say about the institution of marriage? Goodness.
More and more pressured to give up sailing. No trace of Slocum or the spray was ever found. Given more than a century has passed, it's unlikely the mystery will ever be truly explained, unless the spray is found on a deserted island someplace. In that case, vintage photographs like this will come in useful for identifying the ship. Number 3. The Battle of Los Angeles is one of the biggest wartime mysteries to take place in the mainland United States. Whether it was an enemy attack, weather balloons, or something else entirely, something caused the skies above downtown Los Angeles to be lit up with anti-aircraft weapons on February 25, 1942. It also teaches us that even vintage photographs might not tell the whole truth. In early 1942, the Western United States were gripped in the paranoia that the Japanese army might launch a mainland attack. Anti-aircraft weaponry had been sent to important cities on the West Coast, including Los Angeles. It seemed like those fears were proven correct on February 23rd. A Japanese submarine launched a strike against an oil field not far off the coast of Santa Barbara. Only minor damage was sustained, but it was clear the East Coast was within reach. The following evening, military intelligence warned Los Angeles that the city would be the next target, and that an attack would come within the next 10 hours. For several hours, the city was on high alert. Then at 2:25 a.m., the air raid sirens sounded. Radar had
High alert? Does that mean that means evacuation, right? Or does that not mean evacuation? What do you mean high alert? No. Evacuate. We're potentially in danger. You just want us to sit and wait? They crazy.
2:25 a.m., the air raid sirens sounded. Radar had spotted something in the air coming from the Pacific, and people on the ground saw white lights in the skies. It was a clear, moonlit night, the perfect time for an air raid, and there was no reason to believe this wasn't the expected enemy attack. Spotlights were lit up to try to find the aircraft that the lights were presumably attached to, while air raid marshals scrambled to enforce a blackout among the civilian population. More than 1,400 rounds of ammunition were fired into the air, and the sound of the sirens was accompanied by loud bangs. Many people were injured as they tried to get to safety. 3 people lost their lives due to car crashes. 2 more suffered heart attacks. The Great Los Angeles Air Raid would continue for about an hour before the all-clear was announced and the city became silent again. It was discovered no aircraft had fallen from the skies, and the Navy was quick to label the incident a false alarm. This was despite many civilians and military personnel claiming to have seen multiple planes in the sky. The Secretary of War also said that there were...
Wait a minute. People died. What do y'all mean? Nothing happened. Some people had heart attacks. Some people got in car crashes. And y'all just gonna say nothing? See, this is the type of stuff that make you think or make you start tapping into your conspiracy theory brain. There's no way in the world you're gonna say that after people with their own eyes can see.
Multiple planes in the sky.
Hold on, go back.
It was discovered no aircraft had fallen from the skies.
None.
And the Navy was quick to label the incident a false alarm.
False alarm. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let me be the family member of one of those who died, bro. I'd be livid. I'd be beating down the door. Are you kidding me? False alarm? I just lost a loved one to this. Now, you're not finna sit here and lie to my face.
This was despite many civilians and military personnel claiming to have seen multiple planes in the sky.
Exactly.
The Secretary of War also said that there were 15 planes in the sky that night. Eventually, the official response claimed the Battle of Los Angeles was caused by high tensions and the release of weather balloons with lights on them. The famous photo of the battle featured in papers around the country the following day. It has fueled conspiracy theories. The photo was retouched before being printed, which wasn't uncommon at the time. However, the position of the small white lights surrounding the searchlights is believed to have been kept the same. Whether the Battle of Los Angeles really was just weather balloons or something else, it was definitely one of the weirder history stories. Number 2. The SS Watertown picture has become one of the most mysterious and creepy ghost photos to have been captured on camera. The photo is almost 100 years old, but still has people baffled about what could have caused it. The mysterious photo was allegedly captured in 1924 by Captain Keith Tracy aboard the SS Watertown, somewhere in the Atlantic. He believed it to be proof of a haunting he and his shipmates had been experiencing for weeks. In January of 1924, 2 sailors aboard the ship lost their lives when a gas pipe leaked into the room they were supposed to be cleaning. Another sailor tried to get them out of the room, but they'd already passed away. Their names were Michael Meehan and James Courtney. A small service was held aboard the ship, which was transporting oil between California and New Orleans. The 2 men who had passed had only been on their first trip with the Watertown when the incident occurred, and they preferred to keep to themselves, so they hadn't made any friends among the other crew. When the captain asked if anybody wanted to say anything in memorial for them, nobody spoke. The 2 men were buried at sea, and the Watertown continued its trip. Meehan and Courtney would not be left behind, though. Their faces would appear off the side of the ship. The apparition would only last a couple of seconds, but it happened so many times that everybody aboard saw the faces, including the captain. When they docked again, the captain tried to tell the owners, a company called a City Services Company, but he wasn't believed. He returned to sea with the camera to get the proof that he needed. When the 2 ghost faces appeared again, he took 6 photographs and then locked the camera away so no one could tamper with it. When the photos were developed, 5 showed nothing but the sea, but the 6th was a shot of the ship, looking towards the forecastle as a wave crashed over the side of the ship. On the opposite side, almost too hard to see among the waves, were the 2 faces. The story quickly spread in newspapers, and the company kept the photo hanging in their office for decades. Unfortunately, the original negative has been lost. Many suspect some form of photo manipulation caused the faces in the photo. It could also be a case of pareidolia. It seems possible, though, that the sailors did see something, as reliable people like the ship's doctor also claimed to have seen the ghostly faces.
Yeah, I believe that photo just got lost like that. Neither did I. Just making sure we're on the same page, though.
Number 1. Vintage images of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, are always some of the most chilling, especially those that cannot be explained. The McMinnville UFO photographs look like the stereotypical image of an old extraterrestrial sighting, but an investigation by the US Air Force left investigators baffled. It was May 11th, 1950, and a woman named Evelyn Trent was feeding rabbits in the yard when she saw something strange in the sky above her farm, just outside the town of McMinnville, Oregon. She described it as silvery, round, and wingless, and said it didn't make a noise as it moved towards them. She rushed inside to get her husband, who brought the couple's camera out to take photos of the unexplained object in the sky. Her husband, Paul, managed to take 2 photographs before the UFO disappeared into the mist. This wasn't the first time Evelyn had seen UFOs. On multiple occasions, she had claimed to see something strange over the coast, but this was the first time she caught anything on camera. When the Trents had the pictures developed, the 2 images clearly showed something. One image showed a dark, oval-shaped object against a white sky. The other was more translucent. The photos made their way to the local press and were then discovered by the national media. When the US Air Force began its investigation into UFOs, the McMinnville photographs were among some cases that were looked into. While most cases were thrown out as hoaxes or known phenomena, whatever Evelyn and Paul had seen in the sky that day could not be explained by any conventional means. It was deemed no photo manipulation had taken place. After interviewing the Trents, they were deemed credible witnesses. Paul tried to put the sighting behind him, but Evelyn continued to be fascinated by UFOs and her encounter that continues to defy explanation. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, man. Imagine being a person that discovers a UFO back then. You feel like you all alone. You know what I mean? But in his case, unlike a lot of other cases, it came back that the photo hadn't been tampered with. These days, I mean, they try to just, any type of way they can become a skeptic towards your photo, they will. Say, oh, it was Photoshop. Oh, it was this. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of copycats, there's a lot of fakes, there's a lot of that going on. But there's real people out there who have real authentic photos, man. And they have to navigate through all the BS before their stuff ever comes to light. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people just feel like it's not even worth it to them. You know? But I don't know. A lot of these stories, man, I'm still tripping over the dude at sea, bro. The fact that he sailed out there just on his boat for over 3 years and could not swim. That's unbelievable to me. Wow. But listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section, though, man, and let me know what you thought of these mysterious vintage photos that need solving, man. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Stick around and stay tuned. Until next one, I'm gone. Peace.